Welcome back to another edition of The Shift. On this episode, we're going to be talking about crossroads and intersections. We're about to end the first quarter, and we're about to enter into quarter number 2 of 2024. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Catherine Trotter, aka CT Speaks, your host for this episode. And when we look at the word crossroad, it means an intersection of two or more roads. When I looked at the definition, it says a road that crosses a main road or runs across country between main roads. And I want us to be thinking about how we're about to transition out of quarter 1 and transition into quarter 2. And I want you to think about where you are in your life, in your personal, your professional, your business life. And I want you to think about what crossroad are you in? What intersection of your life are you leaving out of? And are you going into? The definition went on to talk about how a crossroad is the point where two roads meet. You know, as we continue to persevere in our life, as we continue to push forward into the direction of our dreams and pursuing our goals and keeping it moving, sometimes we come to intersections of our life. Sometimes we come to intersections of our life that we have to make decisions on what is our next step, decisions on how we're going to move forward with our business, decisions. What type of decisions are you in the middle of contemplating on and reflecting on as we are winding down the first quarter of 2021? The definition went on to say the point where two roads meet. It is more often used in a figurative way to mean a situation that requires some important choice must be made. Then, as I continue to research about a crossroad, I came across this. The T-junction, the point where two roads meet. It is more often used in a figurative way to mean a situation that requires some important choice. What type of important choice do you need to make right now? And when you look at the word intersection, it means a point or line in common to lines or a surface that intersect. An intersection is any place where one road meets another road. It often means it is controlled intersections, and it has signs and traffic lights and signals. Imagine when you're driving on the road. But think about your life right now. As you're driving in the car seat of your own life, you are the driver of your own life. Are you paying attention to the signs, the traffic signals in your life to indicate it's time to get off this road? It's time to take exit 2. It's time to take exit 3. Whatever the next exit is for you. Are we paying attention to the signs in our life? Are we paying attention to the traffic signals that's trying to catch our attention? Think about when you're driving on the road and it is moving from green to red, letting you know it's about to go, when it's moving from green to yellow, just before it hits red. We know red means we're supposed to pump the brakes and stop. Are we paying attention to the signals in our life? Or are we just blasting through that yellow light, ignoring the signal, ignoring everything that's trying to catch our attention? The definition went on to say uncontrolled and blind intersections do not meet well. And when we think about that, think about a blind intersection. Think about if you're driving, right? And you're trying to make a turn, but something is obstructing your view and you're not really sure if you should make that turn or go out into that road because you can't see everything around you. Sometimes that's how life is. You can't always see everything around you. That's why you need to proceed with caution. Before entering into an intersection, often we are taught to look to our left, look to our right, look ahead, check for vehicles, check for any bicyclists, check for any pedestrians. Are we doing that in our business, though? Sometimes we're just casually moving forward or hastily moving forward in our business endeavors, but we're not looking to the left. We're not looking to the right. We're not checking for any signs or indicators around us if we are to proceed with caution. I want us to think about, where are we in our life right now? When we think about crossroads and intersections, it is a reflective state of being. We have to think about, what is the purpose of our intersection in our life. You have an intersection, I have an intersection. I have different places in my life that I'm looking to grow into, right? I'm not going to stay the same. I have no desire to stay the same. But in order for me not to stay the same, I have to make a conscious effort to continue to move forward, to continue to identify those indicators that's around me, the flashing lights, right? The signal lights around me that say, listen, Catherine, you stayed in this zone too long. It's time for you to cross over. It's time for you to move into your next place in your life. When we look at a crossroad is formed, again, when two straight roads intersect a common point. Sometimes we feel like we've been growing in our life, we've been building in our life, and we're like, when are we going to get to that point? I feel like everything meets together. I feel like everything is just coming together, right? Sometimes you'll hear someone say, I've been building for so long. When is everything going to finally come together? Well, I think about our life, right? And I think about, as we continue to go on this journey in our life, we won't ever get to that place of the intersection where everything come together if we quit. You will never get to that point if you quit. So I want to encourage somebody with this topic on tonight about crossroads and intersection. Understand that as you continue to move forward, you're going to hit some valley moments in your life. If you haven't already, we all have had valley moments, myself included. But we have to remind ourselves that we must continue to move forward. When I was looking up the definition of crossroad, it gave me two analogies. One was about the scissors, a pair of scissors, and another analogy was about a clock. So when it was talking about a scissors, it says a pair of scissors has two arms that form intersecting lines. Then it talked about the clock, how intersecting lines are formed by two needles passing through a common point in the clock. If we're not careful, we will miss the intersection in that point in our life where we're supposed to pivot left, pivot right, take that detour, get off on the next exit. If we're not really monitoring where we are, if we're not pausing, how often do we pause and reflect? How often do we spend time with self, or are we always on the go? Well, I must confess, I used to be that person that was always on the go, but I am learning how to slow down. Think about the analogy of the clock. It says it is formed by two needles passing through a common point in the clock. You think about a needle in the clock, tick, 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 tick. It is moving at a rhythm. It is moving at a certain pace. We have to learn our pace. We have to learn what our rhythm is. So when we talk about crossroad and intersections, to me, I think about music. I think about a beat. I think about harmony. I think about when you finally get to that place in your life and you are at peace with yourself. You're now at a state of harmony with self. There's so many external things that's going to be going on around you that you cannot control. You just can't control. But you can control your internal clock within inside yourself that's ticking every single day. That's saying, you know what, when am I going to finally get to that point that I'm in harmony with oneself? Sometimes we want to be in harmony with all these other people and all these external things and the cliques and the groups. And socialization is great. It serves its purpose. But sometimes people get lost in the crossroad of life because you have not become one with self. You have not gotten to the place in your life that you are in harmony with your own rhythm. So then when you do interact with people and you enter into places of your life and you're interacting with people, right? That word interaction, right? Intersections, interacting in social environments, you won't feel like a fish out of the water because you are already in harmony with yourself. When you enter into rooms and platforms and spaces, It's not about you fitting in anymore into that environment. You're bringing your own harmony to that environment. You're bringing your own peace. You're bringing your own solitude. You're bringing your own aura. You're bringing your own persona, because you took that necessary time to be one with self. And I'm telling you, this is something very important, because when we talk about crossroads and intersections and leaving one space of our life and entering to another space of our life, we can only be truly effective if we are at harmony and peace with our own selves. And can't nobody get us to that posture except for us spending quality time with self, that alone time, that quiet time. Learning you. What are the things that keep you creative? You know, we are creative beings. What is that thing I'm speaking to the entrepreneurs right now, because entrepreneurs, we're naturally born creators. But if you're not creating an environment around you that's going to allow your creative juices to flow, eventually your business will start to slow down. Some may say, well, my business just faded away. Well, why did the business fade away? Because as an entrepreneur, we're visionaries, we're creators. But if you're not in an environment that's going to produce creativity, then that is why your business is fading. You need to check, what road are you traveling on right now? Maybe you got off on a exit that wasn't your exit to get off on, and you intersected with bodies of people that you should have never been intersecting with. You intersected with certain platforms that you thought was going to take you to the next level, but that was not the platform for you. We got to check what crossroad and intersections that we're in. You know, who are we interacting with? Who are we communicating with? Who are we in relationship with? Who are we building with? Right? We got to be cognizant of that. It can even propel us forward or retract us backward. It's decision-making time. There are a few times in life when you stand at a place that you need to make a decision. When you know that there was a before and you know that there's an after. The before is everything that happened before you listen to this podcast. And the after is everything you're going to do after this podcast has concluded. Your before, everything that happened before you listen to this podcast. And the after is the decision that you're going to make once this podcast is ended. There's just some decisions I have to make. There's some decisions you have to make, right? In terms of where we are growing to. You get to a point that you know that there's no turning back in your life. I came across some quotes. One of the quotes says, there is a strange comfort in knowing that no matter what happens today, the sun will rise again tomorrow. Listen, you may feel that this first quarter did not go according to plan. Listen, I understand. There were certain things I wanted to fully manifest in the first quarter, but you know what? I was able to manifest was to be able to get one with self. And you know what? I think that's paramount above anything else, because if you're not one with self, all these beautiful list of things and action steps to do, it will not happen. And you will not operate at your optimum capacity because you're not one with self. So don't look at what didn't happen. I want you to analyze what did happen this first quarter. Now, there's several more weeks of this month of March. Don't get me wrong. You can still knock out a lot of your goals, okay? There's a lot that can happen in a couple of weeks. But I want you to remember, like the quote says, no matter what happens today, the sun will rise again tomorrow. There's another quote that says, from this point forward, you don't even know how to quit in life. You know, sometimes we get to a point in our life that we've been through so much, we just got to the point like, I don't care what's happening. I'm not going to quit. Yeah, I might be tired. I might be a little jaded, but I'm not going to quit. I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to get my rest, and I'm going to get up in the morning, and I'm going to start all over again. But I'm going to start all over again with fresh perspective. See, sometimes that's why we get frustrated, because we get up in the morning and we still got that old way of thinking. We got to get up in the morning with fresh perspective. There's another quote that says, at some point, you just got to forgive the past. Your happiness hinges on it. Sometimes when we just hold and dwell and just refuse to let it go. Just think about you as a little kid, for some that, used to have the blanket in you, that was like your safety net, or whatever your safety net thing was as a child. Whatever that thing was, you didn't want to let it go. Sometimes as an adult, there's certain things we just ain't trying to let go. And because we're not trying to let it go, we're hindering our happiness. We're hindering forward movement. And I've been telling people this: whatever happens on your personal side of your life, it will impact your business life. People say it's separate. It is separate. However, you have to make sure that you have some stability on the personal side, or it will spill over into the business side. So you got to check everything that's going on around you in your life. Crossroad and intersections. What does that look like with your business and your personal? Are things getting convoluted? Are things getting blurred? Lines getting blurred? Things getting confusing? What's up? What's going on? Because we're talking about quarter 2 is right around the corner. So we need to take an inventory of where we are right now, a mental inventory of where we are. This is another quote, and this quote is by Nelson Mandela. It says, "May your choices reflect your hopes, not your fears." As you begin to prepare for quarter 2, I want you to prepare based on what your intentionality is, from an optimistic standpoint, not from a fear standpoint, not from a woe is me standpoint, not from a pessimistic standpoint, but from an optimistic standpoint of what you shall accomplish and what you shall do. This next quote is by Hillary Clinton. It says, "Every day is a crossroad. Every day is a chance to change your life and our world for the better." Every day you wake up and your eyes open up and you are conscious to reality is a new opportunity for you to evolve. Another quote by Rumi says, "Let yourself be silently drawn by the strange pull of what you really love. It will not lead you astray." Sometimes, we get stuck in a rut in our life. We get stuck in these crossroads where we feel like we're in a rut. We don't feel like we're living our purpose. We just existing. We're just living. And to me, that is no way to live. And that's why this quote says, "Let yourself be silently drawn by the strange pull of what you really love." What is it that you love? What is it that you are passionate about? Perhaps the challenges you've been facing in the crossroads and the intersections and the detours and not paying attention to the signals in your life that's trying to usher you into your pathway that you're supposed to go into. Maybe you've been ignoring the signals and you've been denying yourself to walk in your purpose. You've been denying. We can't always put things on other people. Have you been denying yourself? Self-denial is a real thing. I know personally. Sometimes we can psych our own self out. We can second guess ourselves. We can question, do I have the capability? Do I have the knowledge? Do I have the know-how? And listen, if you feel you don't have all the knowledge, then pick up a book. Study your industry, master your industry. I know for me personally, I'm taking the next 6 months, and there's certain industries that I want to master. And I'm not saying I'm going to fully master in 6 months, but I'm making a concerted effort. I'm eliminating TV watching, which I never really watched a lot of TV anyway, but the little bit I was watching is being eliminated. And for the next 6 months, I'm studying certain industries because I want to have a certain knowledge level as I continue to grow and evolve. So if you feel you don't have the knowledge, seek out for the books, seek out for the trainings that can empower you and equip you. Another quote says, "We need to accept that we won't always make the right decisions, that we'll screw up royally sometimes, understanding that failure is not the opposite of success. It is a part of success." Some of you may be beating yourself up right now saying, "I did not accomplish X, Y, Z that I thought I was going to be able to." But again, I need you to sit back and analyze, what did you accomplish? And I want you to magnify that and grow that. Another quote says, "When you cannot make up your mind which of two evenly balanced courses of action you should take, choose the bolder." So what I get from that quote is, if I'm in an intersection of my life and I'm trying to make a decision, left, right, up, down, what should I do? Choose the bolder. In other words, choose the one that's really tied to my purpose. Choose the bodacious one. Choose the one that people may say I can't even attain. That is the one I'm going to go for. There's another quote that says, make the decision that you will no longer use excuses to keep you from what you know is in your best interest. How many of us allowed excuses to be our downfall, and excuses that have allowed us to stay on the wrong side of the tracks, the wrong side, and did not allow us to cross over into the pathway that we should have been entered into a long time ago? I can raise my hand to that. This is a season about being truthful with yourself. It's not about anybody else. It's about getting truthful with self. There's another quote that says, follow your intuition. Listen to your dreams, your inner voice to guide you. What is your inner voice saying to you right now? That's directly connected to your purpose, your dreams, and your goals. Another quote says, using the power of decision gives you the capacity to get past any excuse to change any and every part of your life in an instant. In an instant. It's about perspective. What is your perspective on today? Another quote says, we all face crossroads in our lives where we can retreat into ourselves or we can hit the dance floor. Who's ready to dance? Who's ready to go in a quarter two and dance? Who's ready to say, you know what? I've been living in this old way of thinking too long. And I'm about to cross into my destination that's going to lead me to fulfilling my purpose. A quote by Robert Kiyosaki says, you and only you are responsible for your life choices and decisions. We have to release other people. Sometimes we are frustrated where we are in our life. We may feel we're not far enough, or whatever the case may be. We have to get to a place where we release other people. And wherever we are in life and wherever we feel we may not be, we have a decision we can make today to be greater, to do greater, to self-educate, to acquire the tools necessary to move forward. There's another quote that says, you cannot continue on the same path and arrive at a different destination. What path have you been on? And what path have you been staring at? Sometimes we see that intersection we supposed to make, but we didn't cross over because we second guessed it. Is that really for me? A quote by John C. Maxwell says, adversity is a crossroad that makes a person choose one or two paths, character or compromise. Sometimes we're entering into a crossroad of our life, and this is particularly with business. I want to talk about business for a second. All business isn't good business. Some things you got to make a decision on. Yeah, this may look appealing. It may, it may look good. But is this going to compromise my business? Is this going to compromise my brand? Is this going to compromise who I am and my integrity and my character? Some things you got to walk away from. All business isn't good business. There's a quote by Michelle Obama that says, you can't make decisions based on fear and the possibility of what might happen. Again, I, for many years, have had issues or challenges in that area, wondering the what if syndrome, right? But I have been able to slay that what if giant. And it's a mental exercise I have to do daily so that mindset of the what if does not supersede what is. Did you catch that? I have to slay that giant of the what ifs so the what is will supersede. I can't be worrying about the what ifs. I got to focus on what is. What is in the present, operating in the present. Another quote says, we must make the choices that enable us to fulfill the deepest capacities of our real selves. Sometimes that's why we're in a state of frustration, because we're not living an authentic life. We've been on crossroads and intersections and coveting other people's lives and putting on a mask, and it's not even who we are. Let's take off the mask, embrace who we are naturally, and own who we are. Another quote says, big changes don't have to be hard, but they do have to start with a choice. This is where real changes begin. This is where you start taking control of your life and how you choose to live it. This is where it all starts. This is where it all starts, guys. Another quote says, we all need to decide whether to play it safe in life and worry about the downside, or instead take a chance by being who we really are and living the life our heart desires. Which choice are you making? Question mark. Which choice are you making? It's decision-making time. What will you decide this week that will make an impact on your future destination? Have you reached a fork in the road of your own life, personally, professionally, business-wise? Are you at a point of no return to your former lifestyle habits that no longer serve you? The first quarter of 2024 will end on March 31st in 14 days. 14 days. How will you spend the last 14 days? You was not created just to merely exist. You were created to manifest. I would like to extend an invitation to you and join me along with other business owners on Monday, April 1st at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as we kick off the second quarter of 2024. It is going to be a strategic planning webinar, complimentary to anyone that would like to plug in. The topic is going to be on expanding your market base by building the infrastructure of your business. I'm going to say that again. The topic for April 1st at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Expanding your market base by building the infrastructure of your business. You can go to Eventbrite, and our handle on Eventbrite is second QTR 2024. So 2ND QTR 2024 on Eventbrite. Listen, it's all going down on April 1st at 7 p.m. We're going to officially kick off the second quarter. Kick it all with us. I'm going to have a panel of other business owners. I'm inviting some accountants, some lawyers, some other business professionals in the community that can help advise us from a legal standpoint, from a tax standpoint. We know we are in tax season. Many business owners need some tips. You in a crossroad on how you're going to do your business taxes. You need some information. You may be in a crossroad on how to do your branding for your business, and you don't know how to do your trademark, right? It's going to be practical tips and information that we're going to be sharing on April 1st that you can implement in your business. Again, this has been a beautiful time that I've been able to share with all of you. I ask that you share this episode with someone that you may know they might be in a crossroad in their life. They may be going through an intersection, right? They may be dealing with something and they're trying to figure it out, as we all are. We all have been in spaces of our life when we're trying to figure it out. So don't just keep this podcast to yourself. I ask that you send it to one person that this can help motivate, encourage, and empower someone. If this has been impactful to you, share it with someone else. For those that would like to follow me on my social media handles, on Instagram, it's CTR Strategy Solutions. You can also follow SEN Studio at Strategic Collaboration Network, both on Facebook and Instagram. And my website is my first and last name, CatherineTrotter.com. That's CatherineTrotter.com. For those of you that have listened to my podcast show in the past, you always know I always say I'm going to see you at the top. Why do I say that? This is something I've been saying for years. Because you got to see yourself before you even get there. Life can throw bricks at you, and to the point it starts piling up and it starts to obstruct your view and your vision. So when I say see you at the top, that is a reminder to myself. That is a reminder to you that this is not your end. You're only going through a crossroad. You're only going through an intersection. But you got to be cognizant of the signals in your life. The traffic lights, just like when we're driving on the road, indicate to us if we need to pause, wait, caution us. We got to pay attention to the signals in our life as we continue to grow, as we continue to build. So as we wind down, I just say, see you at the top. This is not your end. It's only a crossroad. It's only an intersection. Greater is in store for you. Greater is in store for you. See yourself beyond where you are right now, and you will achieve it. You will accomplish it. There's no barriers that's going to be able to hinder forward movement. See you at the top.